So Stranger Things is back, and it aired its third season on Netflix there just Thursday gone by, and I binge watched the whole show in one day because this is how I do things with these shows. I like to binge them in the first day or the first 2 days. With most of the Marvel ones where they're 13 episodes, it's a little harder to do it in one day when there's 13 episodes. But Stranger Things season 2 was only 8 episodes, so it was actually pretty easy to get through it. Um, like I was able to just go off and do other stuff, whereas with the Marvel shows, if I wanted to get them done in one day, I really had to commit and kind of just devote the whole day to that. So I actually think that 8 episodes worked well for this, but Stranger Things has always kind of had a low episode count for their seasons. The last season was only 9 episodes. The season before that was 8 episodes again, but last season was basically 9 episodes because episode 7 with 11 and her group of powers was so far removed that it didn't really feel like it was part of the overall season. But anyway, I'm getting too off track here. The Stranger Things season 3 was it good? Was it bad? What did it do right? What did it do wrong? Just heads up that I'm not gonna be completely spoiler free. I'll probably touch on some very basic spoilers, like things maybe from the first couple episodes, but I'm not gonna touch any big plot points or any big things that are gonna ruin the season on you or twists or anything like that. But just if you want to go in completely knowing absolutely nothing, probably don't watch this. Probably shouldn't watch any reviews because reviewers a lot of time let stuff like that slip. But anyway, this was by far the biggest season yet. Everything was bigger scale. It felt more cinematic. Just the monsters were bigger. Everything was basically the biggest it got, and I kind of hope that they tone it down a little bit for season 4, because while the big huge scale, it makes sense. They've been going slowly upwards for a while now. It makes sense that they would reach this kind of climax. The season did very much, besides the very end of of episode 8, the season very much felt like it could have been a final season. A lot of the big storylines were wrapped up, and a lot of character arcs felt like they were done by the time the season was over. And they fought the biggest monster they fought yet. They seemed to fight the big, big, big bad that they could have fought. And now that that's over, I'm like, where do they go from here? Because if they go bigger again with season 4, it's going to be a little bit weird. Now, it's possible they won't even renew the show for season 4, but as far as I know, the Duffer Brothers they want to get to at least 5 seasons, or they have a story for 5 seasons, and I know Netflix likes to cancel things randomly, but I feel like with Stranger Things, considering how popular it is, they probably are going to let the Duffer Brothers do whatever they want for as long as they want to do it. So I think it's safe to say we will be getting a 4th season. But this season, yeah, it honestly felt like more of the same for me. It didn't really do a lot of new things, and on top of that, a lot of the season takes place in the Starcourt Mall. If you've seen any of the trailers, you know where I'm talking about. Just a big mall that's kind of showing up, and it's basically taking all the work away from the small town shops and stuff like that. It was a little weird, but most of the season does take place in that area, or it's just right inside it. And I don't know if I like that. It definitely feels far more removed than the other season. I know that's like none of the other seasons were realistic at all, but the other seasons had rules. They felt realistic, they felt gritty, they felt down to earth. Season 1 definitely. Season 2 not as much, but it still had that gritty down to earth feel to it. This season didn't. This season was very much sci-fi stuff happening crazily, and I don't know if I liked it that much. It was a fun season. I enjoyed it a lot. I just don't know if this season was for me. I didn't like a lot of decisions they made regarding characters. A lot of characters were wasted. Like Will, for example, he's just a plot device. Lucas and Mike, they have barely any story. They've got one storyline each that is actually the same storyline, and it's a boring storyline that really could have been given to any character. That was disappointing. Billy, again, while I feel like where his story went was good, I think for most of the season, I wasn't happy with what they did with him, because Dr. Montgomery's Billy was probably my favorite part of season 2, along with Steve being a good guy now. And I just feel like they didn't live up to how good of a character he was in season 2, because they did something that I was like, oh, come on. Please don't mean this is going to waste him for the whole season, and that's exactly what it meant. It meant that he was wasted for the whole season. I think where it ended up was good, but to get there, it was super underwhelming and super wasted. They should have given his story to a different character, in my opinion. But the season also had a lot of storylines running at once. And this isn't new. Both other seasons also had a bunch of characters doing different things at once that would all connect towards the very end of the season. And it was the same here. My problem is that all of the various storylines, none of them really worked that well. One of two of them did. But most of them were very messy and convoluted in my opinion. And some of them could have been their own main storylines. Like, some of them that were side stories, it didn't work because they were side stories, but if they were a main storyline, it would have worked well. And I feel like they tried to put so much stuff into this season, things that could have easily been other season arcs. And it kind of made this season a little bit of it gave it a pace problem, in my opinion. Still fun, still very enjoyable, but I do think this was probably my least favorite season that Stranger Things has had yet. Again, as I say, it's bad. I had fun with it. I just do think that this was an underwhelming season. Because I loved season 1 and 2, and this season just didn't match up in my opinion. Episode 7 and 8 are some of the best episodes Stranger Things have put out, but I think episodes 2 to 6 have a lot of problems and are a little bit weird in how they handle things and do things. There's also product placement everywhere. Like, every second scene has somebody drinking a can of Coke or a can of Coke somewhere. And, like, I know that this is new. Again, in Season 2, they had that thing with the old KFC bucket where, like, they even said that it's finger licking good. That was kind of funny. And this is just everywhere. It's like they're trying to make it over the top and forcing in your face. Like, hey, look, remember when everybody drank these kind of cans and stuff like that? I mean, like, people still do. But it's like, remember all this stuff? It's kind of weird. It doesn't take away from the season. It's just an observation I had where I was like, did they need to keep doing this? Did they really need the money that bad? But yeah, I would give this season a 7.2 out of 10. Still good. I consider season 1 like an 8.5 and season 2 a 9. So this is a little bit of a step down. But again, 7.2 out of 10 still good. Still enjoyable. You'll have fun with it. But I think I'm in the minority with this, because I've seen a lot of people say it's the best season yet. People say that it was fantastic, and that's great. I'm so happy you enjoyed it. A lot of it didn't really click for me. But thank you very much for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, and all of that if you enjoyed this video. And I hope you have an awesome day.